So most brands that we see that are in the sort of 10 to 100K mark per month are still running ads like it's 2024. So they're still going out to a broad audience. They'll have a broad creatives and one size fits all copy. And in 2025, this really doesn't scale because creative is now the targeting. And if your ad doesn't feel personal and go out to different avatars within the first 3 seconds, Meta will struggle to really scale it to broader pockets of audience. And the best way I can really show this is through athletic greens, which I often show my clients is one of the best sort of companies that advertises on Meta. So they have a daily greens powder. So this is a universal powder that you could sort of describe as a one size fits all product. However, what they do really cleverly is they have tons and tons of different personas they go out to in their UGC and their content creator ads. So as you can see, they do ads for entrepreneurs. They'll do ads for gym goers, new mums, wellness girls. And again, it's just using a universal product and showing the like sort of not infinite, but that there'll be hundreds of different avatars that can really benefit from this, whether it's gut health, mental clarity for entrepreneurs, nutrient absorption if they're taking lots of supplements for the gym, hormonal balance. So a lot of these superfood greens will have different benefits, and in the supplement space, this is really important. So you're not just going down like a singular benefit or singular transformation. You're showing these different pockets of audiences. This is the benefit you're going to get from my supplements, and this is what we can replicate for smaller brands. So the top 1% creative testing process versus the 90%. So what the 90% of brands do, they test random ad angles with no research. They might change a hook or headline and hope for better results. And they'll throw 10 ads live and see what sticks. So you want to be constantly looking at what the research is before testing. So it's not a coincidence or like an accident that AG1 would have found these avatars. They would have been constantly looking at ad comments, customer reviews, competitor ads, and identifying real pain points, claims, and language their market uses. A lot of the time, an evergreen ad isn't just born an evergreen ad. It could be the same video with 5 different hooks, and you want to be really viewing which is the best opener. You also don't want to just be resting on your winning ads. You want to be really extracting the winning elements from the ads and making more variations of this. So was it the problem that was addressed? Was it the testimonial that did really well? Was it the claim? Was it the delivery? And you want to be building constantly 10 to 15 different variations around the same hook, the angle, and changing the visuals, etc. You want to be like sort of making your ads like Frankenstein ads. So taking hook A plus testimonial B plus offer C, and just using a spreadsheet of winning elements to mix high performing components into new ads. And you want to be doing this weekly, reviewing the comments and messages, pulling new testimonials. Monthly, you want to be updating your persona matrix. So you want to be looking at different pockets of audiences. And quarterly, you want to be rerunning your best performing hooks with new visuals, new voiceovers, seasonal variations. And you always want to be tracking what works, why it works, and building a library of winning elements. So you don't want to just be, again, looking at an ad and thinking that's great. Shall we just make another variations this? Yeah, you want to be making a copy of what all the winning elements, so you can really hypothesize and create more variations. So we also like to systemize the creative segmentation. So we want to build a persona grid per SKU. So if you've got like a sleep enhancement or pill, you want to be looking at who's going to be benefiting from this? Is it the new mums? Is it the aspirational people in their work? Is it people who've got insomnia? Is it people who have crash mid-morning? So you want to be looking at building like persona grids, which I'll look into in further, which I'll show you our systems in further videos. And it'd be creating hook trackers, because what works for one SKU can maybe be replicated for others. And you want to have like a sprint workflow where you go all the way from ideation, scripting, launching, and a feedback loop where you analyze and roll forward. Feedback loops where you pipe data back into your creative team, and you just want to be evolving weekly as well. You also want to be segmenting testing by format. So can you replicate the UGC into like a founder-led video with the same angle? Can you use experts to discuss the same angles that are winning? So you want to just prove it per segment. And just for the research phase, so these are our top 5 or 6 research ways. So Amazon reviews, this is where like the highest volume of data comes from. TikTok meta comment sections, so this is what you can see on your ads, your competitor ads. You want to be looking at influencer language, sales calls, if you do like sort of support tickets. Reddit threads is one of the most slept on ways of finding customer data, but I love this. If you type in your product or your problem and then Reddit, this is where your like sort of audience is going to be speaking, and you can really use their language. And also like exit and abandoned cart feedback. So you want to be just leveraging all of this and creating your willing elements library through this. And if you want to scale without adding new SKUs, you really need to be constantly looking at new angles. Like if you don't, Meta's just going to be showing the same ads to the same people. You're not really going to be looking anywhere near enough scale. The top 1% treat creative like a product development. So always iterating, testing, extracting, and systemizing what works. And that's how one SKU can become 10 scalable narratives. And that's how you scale in 2025. Thank you.